From KGW, this is The Good Stuff.
It's been amazing. It's wonderful to have him back after 81 years. I wish my father was here to realize that they did find George.
A World War II service member killed in action in 1943 has finally made it home to his final resting place in Portland. Thank you for tuning into The Good Stuff. I'm Christine Pitawanich. The staff sergeant's remains were identified and returned from a cemetery in Europe. Tim Gordon joined the family at a memorial ceremony on Monday and shares their story.
On a sun-filled afternoon at Willamette National Cemetery, an Oregon hero of World War II, now identified, is finally laid to rest.
Staff Sergeant George Davies returned to his hometown, Portland, Oregon, after being missing in action for 81 years.
Present arms.
This is what family had been waiting for, wondering if it would ever happen.
It just sort of feels like he's come back home and given the respect that he deserved, that we can finally give him, and then, let people know about it so that they can find their loved ones.
George Edward Davies was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army Air Force during World War II.
He flew 27 missions as an assistant engineer and gunner. His final mission was in a B-24 Liberator bomber nicknamed Air Lobo. George was 27 years old.
The final mission was a massive, high-risk bombing attack on a Nazi-controlled oil refinery in Romania. 177 planes flew it. Half didn't make it back. Davies was one of scores of U.S. Army airmen who died on August 1, 1943. Like many others, he was unaccounted for, his remains buried as an unknown service member. In September of 2022, the decades-long process of trying to identify remains that included DNA testing paid off. Earlier this month, Staff Sergeant Davies returned to Portland all these years later.
It's a feeling of closure. It's wonderful for our family to realize that they did find him and that he's resting in the same cemetery with my father and that he's back home.
Francie Hillier and Kathy Leonard are two of Davies' nieces. Their father, Alan, was George's brother. He lost his leg in the war, but survived. Their mother served as well. This ceremony for George Davies, with full military honors and recognition of the sacrifice, means a lot.
I was born on the day he died.
Oh my goodness, isn't that something? Thank you for coming.
Thank God for men like him and families like you.
Absolutely. Wow.
As now a family can bury their loved one, knowing he's finally home to rest in peace. Tim Gordon, KGW News.
We've got a bunch of sports headlines to get to, and today, big news in Soccer City. Not one, but two members of the Portland Thorns will be representing the U.S. at the Olympics this summer. Forward Sophia Smith and midfielder Sam Coffey will both make their Olympic debut in Paris. This will be Coffey's first major tournament with the national team. Smith was on the World Cup team last year and is one of the star players for the Thorns. Smith and Coffey will head to Paris after the Thorns' send-off match against the San Diego Wave on July 5th. Ryan Krauser also headed to the Paris Olympics this summer after winning the shot put at the Olympic trials. If you follow Ryan on social media, you probably know that when he's not training, he's spending a lot of time with his dog, Coda. That's why Ryan decided to make a pit stop at the Oregon Humane Society before he left town after the trials. Orlando Sanchez tagged along with him.
He's 6'7" and can throw a 16-pound shot put further than anyone in the world.
76 feet, 8 1/4 inches. World record by Ryan Krauser, the kid from Boring, Oregon, not boring any longer.
Ryan Krauser dominates inside the shot put circle. And every time you see him throw, you see the Nike swoosh on his feet and uniform. But now he has a new sponsor, thanks to his black lab, Coda.
we constantly say, like, I can't remember what we did before we had Coda, because she's such a key component of our lives.
As a professional athlete, nutrition is a cornerstone of performance. And
Ryan and his pup are featured in ads for the new pet food brand, Nulo. And that love for animals brought Ryan here.
Ryan, welcome to the Oregon Humane Society.
Shortly after clinching a spot for Team USA at the Olympics, Ryan got a tour of the entire Humane Society facility. That includes the exam rooms and surgery area.
Animals are prepped for surgery, and then they go into one of our ORs or into the dental area. So spay-neuter is what's happening right now.
And the brand new Behavior and Rescue Center, which helps animals heal physically and socially before they get adopted.
We can house whatever animals need it at the time, so from a disaster that happens.
But the highlight of the trip,
what a good boy,
was getting to meet some of the shelter dogs and cats looking for their forever families.
Yeah, oh, what a sweet boy. Oh, boy.
Good girl. Oh, what's that, miss?
He swapped out a shot put
I'm going to ask you to do
for a tennis ball to play fetch with Macy.
Are you ready?
Doggy shot put for good
All right.
girl.
You ready, Macy? Okay.
Yay.
What a catch. Oh, good girl. Oh, here you go.
After some treats and pets, Ryan gave her a well-deserved gold medal.
There we go. A good girl.
And then it was off to see Cleo, who was a pro at catching treats.
Catch. Oh, good girl. Hello, hello. Oh,
the last two dogs he met were Churchill and Blue Raspberry, two huskies.
Good boy. Good boy, yeah.
He is just a character.
Ryan then got to say hi to a special senior cat with diabetes named Birdie, looking for a caring home.
You just rather have pets, yeah.
And a kitten named Changa.
More adorable or ironic than a giant Olympian holding a kitten.
Hello.
There will be more opportunities for Ryan to cuddle kittens in the future. But right now, his focus is throwing that shot put as far as he can in Paris.
But in my sport, no one has ever won 3 consecutive golds or 3 golds at all. So it would be a testament, I think, to the longevity of my career.
Orlando Sanchez, KGW News.
Oh, I want to adopt all of them now. The animals that Ryan got to meet are a part of Ryan's team, and Maisie, that you met there, has already been adopted. If you adopt one of them between now and the closing ceremony of the Olympics, Ryan's sponsor, Nulo, will give you 6 months of free dog or cat food. You can find out more information on the Oregon Humane Society's website. And staying on the Olympics train, a small piece of Oregon will be part of the big show. That's because Team USA will sport this Ralph Lauren blazer that's made with wool from the Shanico Wool Company in Maupin. They're joining Nike, which, as you probably know, based in Oregon, right? And is supplying Team USA and multiple other nations with athletic wear. You can catch the opening ceremony in Paris and much of the Olympic competition right here on KGW and NBC. That starts Friday, July 26th. Let's get back to soccer for a moment. The Timbers and Thorns are taking a break from their usual competitive matches to play for charity today at Providence Park. It'll be a mixed teams 60-minute scrimmage. Donations from the match will support the Nature Conservancy and Keep Oregon Greens initiatives. Timbers legend Jax Jewsbury will be playing. He now lives in Kansas City, but is excited to play again at Providence Park.
It's an awesome opportunity for the players to have some fun in a different capacity and not as serious. Intermix the groups, and for me, it's fun to be back on the pitch. I haven't played in really any games since probably 2016, so hopefully there's not a lot of expectations out there other than not getting hurt.
Kickoff was just a few minutes ago, so if you'd like to watch the charity match, it is streaming at timbers.com. Also, a quick reminder, KGW and Safeway are teaming up to bag summer hunger. Students and families who rely on school meals during the school year are faced with food insecurity during the summer. But you can help make a difference. You can buy a bag of the most needed food items at Safeway checkout stands. Then those bags will go to families that need them. For more information, go to bagsummerhunger.com. We've also got more information on our KGW website. Still ahead, the good stuff in the Gorge. We're hitting up the historic Columbia River Highway Trail and checking out some of the newest sites along the bike route and what still needs to be done to finish out the historic route.
Let's get out there. Sponsored by the Oregon Lottery.
It's time for us to get out there, and this week we're headed to the Gorge. Hikers and bikers probably know it's probably going to be a great day if you're going to be getting out on the historic Highways Trail. John Goodwin has a look.
It's not necessarily where you can get to, it's what you see along the way.
The journey into the Gorge is a stunning one, with breathtaking views no matter your path.
This trail is a world-class trail.
David Spangler is with Oregon State Parks. He's talking about the historic Columbia River Gorge Highway Trail.
This is the newest section to be open, which is from Viento to what is called Perham Creek.
At Viento State Park is a new hiker-biker campground on the park's south side that opened just last year.
Hiker-biker sites for Oregon State Parks are typically walk-in campsites that are first come, first serve, that are reserved solely for people that are using non-motorized transport.
The historic trail stretches 73 miles into the gorge, 55 miles of which is drivable. 22 miles are split into 3 sections for bikes and pedestrians.
The historic Columbia River Highway was built as one of the first scenic highways in the United States, and the state trail is mimicking that effort.
For now, the trail stops short of the Mitchell Point Tunnel. Thanks to $11 million of federal money, Oregon State Parks, ODOT, and the Forest Service are just a couple years away from closing the final gap. The tunnel will open later this fall.
This was a section of the historic highway where the Model Ts used to roam about 100 years ago.
Tara Lingley is ODOT's Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area Coordinator.
We do have funding available for that gap, but it's not going to be appropriated or released until 2026. So we have a little bit of a lag between when the tunnel opens and when that connecting piece from the west comes in. 30 years ago, there were 22 miles to be reconnected, and now we have 1.6.
Once the work is done reconnecting the entire trail, Tara says ODOT will turn their attention to another project, finding an ADA-compliant solution for the Eagle Creek staircase near Exit 41.
We recognize that that doesn't serve all people of all abilities, and even a fairly able-bodied person with a heavy e-bike, it's quite a challenge and quite a barrier.
You don't have to be a camper to enjoy this stretch of history. Plus, the further east you go, the smaller the crowds.
This was an outing for families from Portland to come out and see the gorge 100 years ago, and we're hoping to recreate that and get folks out again to really see and experience how the gorge was meant to be seen.
In the gorge, I'm John Goodwin. Let's get out there.
Love those beautiful blue skies. Hey, when we come back, it is an unusual talent, but the world champion elk caller calls Oregon home. What prompted him to learn to communicate with the animals? Welcome back. An unusual world champion from right here in Oregon. He has taken home the top prize in a pretty interesting skill. We're talking about elk calling. Alma McCarty has the story.
Call it a calling. More specifically, an elk calling.
I've done a little goose calling and duck calling, but for the most part it's been elk.
And living in Vernonia, Tony Gilbertson knows these creatures well.
There's a lot of elk out here, but it's hard to hunt. It's thick. It's like a jungle.
He first picked up elk calling 2 decades ago.
Not long after I started archery hunting, and I decided that I wanted to compete.
That competition convened by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation each year. After placing a couple of times in the men's division, he called it off, though he continued hunting and honing his skills.
They'll communicate all year long, but during the rut, the bulls get real excited. They get very possessive, and they start gathering up cows to breed. And in doing so, they will bugle, and the cows will mew and the calves will mew.
In mimicking these sounds, Gilbertson can call a bull to him.
Once they have their cows, they're not as easily to pull away from that herd. But if you're a bull and they think you're a threat, they want to fight. So they'll come to you and give you an opportunity perhaps for a shot.
It's an experience, he says, that can be difficult to describe.
They're so big and they're so loud, and the sound itself, I mean, it gives you goosebumps, makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck.
Gilbertson began competing again in 2021, did well, and went pro. Take a listen to this year's call. A routine that won him the top prize and $5,000. His first professional title, the 2024 World Elk Calling Champ. He's already looking ahead.
I'll have some practicing and preparing to do before I go to that one because I have a big target on my back now.
Those calls can wait. For now, there's hunting season on the horizon.
I'll be out in the woods around here chasing Roosevelt elk in a couple months.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Yeah, what an interesting profile. Hey, coming up, Portland's got a new place to take a dip this summer, and there's a big weekend event to celebrate the new spot. We'll have the details, plus a lot more weekend fun when we return. Welcome back. Welcome back. Lots of fun things are happening this weekend, so let's take a look. A big event happening this Saturday celebrates a brand new swimming spot in Portland. A new public swimming dock has been installed at Portland's Cathedral Park. The Human Access Project has been cleaning up the area, and they're holding a party Saturday afternoon with free swimming lessons, kayak rentals, and performances. The fun starts at 2 p.m. And for the paranormal investigators in your life, the Oregon Bigfoot Festival is coming to Oaks Park on Saturday. Check out dozens of booths dedicated to the supernatural, a monster market, and meet and greets with some big names in the ghost hunting world. Or check out the Oregon Midsummer Festival on Friday and Saturday, celebrating Nordic culture with a midsummer pole, flower crowns, food, performances, shopping, you name it, and even some Viking appearances. It's Friday evening and all day Saturday at Nordic Northwest in Southwest Portland. And in Southeast Portland, you can pick up some new summer reads at the Portland Indie Book and Art Fair. It features independent publishers and local artists. It's at Honey Latte Cafe on Saturday. One more for you. The Hollywood Theater is kicking off a summer of movies in state parks. Really cool stuff here. It starts with Return to Oz at Rooster Rock State Park. That begins Saturday at 9 p.m. For more weekend inspiration, you can check out our 8 Things to Do article. That's going to be up each week on KGW.com. Well, that is all the time that we've got here on The Good Stuff. As always, we really appreciate you being here. Before we head out, though, a quick step outside for a look from our reserve golf course Skycam in Aloha. A reminder, we will not be airing The Good Stuff tomorrow, so just be sure to tune in instead to NBC's coverage of the presidential debate. And of course, the Olympic track and field trials will be airing after that. We hope you have a great evening.